Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Gwent, a weekly show in which we talk everything, you guessed it, Gwent. And we have guests, and we have KyleTheBearded. Kyle, how are you doing, my man?
I am fantastic. First of all, thank you for having me. This is incredible.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. We'll be talking about a charity tournament which you're running for a good cause. But before we do that, we'll be also talking about everything Gwent related, whatever happened this week when it comes to Gwent. And I also today want to learn about your story when it comes to Gwent, how you started with Gwent, what you love about Gwent, what you maybe don't like about Gwent, if there is anything like that. And yeah, we'll get into all that jazz. Sounds good with you?
Sounds great.
Perfect. Okay, let's recap the week in this case to start off. So we had some updates and hot fixes when it comes to syndicate cards not working, all that jazz, all that was posted on our Twitter this week, but most of the stuff is already taken care of and fixed. So we are doing good right now. When it comes to other things this week, we got the SIGA 2022 award for Best Mobile Game. This is for Rogue Mage. This is Central European and Eastern European Game Award that we received during GIC, which happened last weekend here in Poland. Super grateful for this award and the recognition for Rogue Mage because it is an awesome game. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So super thankful for that. Apart from that, we have the Chronicles pack, which is still going on since the latest card drop dropped. And Demon Slavoyski, thank you for this sub. And with the Chronicles pack, you get 24 individual premium cards, plus the second copy of each bronze, of course, and the Army Commander skin for King Foltest. Who looked a tad small in the shop, but now should be back to his normal size. And if he's not, he surely will go back to being small test, but King Foltest, the Great. What else is going on? We have the play-in tournament news, which are starting and kicking off this weekend. If you want to learn more about that, go to masters.playgwent.com. In the news section, you have everything about the play-in. And also, ESC Card Gaming is helping us, as always, to run this, same as qualifiers. So if you head on over to their Twitter, you will have all the info about the group phase, which starts, like I said, this weekend. It starts at 12 CST. Some of the things will be streamed, but full coverage will also happen via ESC Card Gaming's Twitter. So check those out for sure. And when it comes to the whole streaming schedule, we have Shoop TV, we have Erdem, we have Melgwent, Gabane, Lionheart, Spessy, Salty Captain, and Erdem, and so many awesome people. Shoop TV, I don't know if I mentioned that, but all of them will be streaming some of the games. So if you don't want to miss them, be sure to check out ESC's Twitter, or just check out the Twitters of your favorite casters like Spessy, Lion, Erdem, Mel. You can just Salty Captain. You can just go to their Twitters to see when they are live. They'll be streaming through their own channels. Just a reminder that the play-in is the final tournament that will put additional players into the top 8 for Gwent World Masters, which is happening the first weekend of December this year. So it's going to be an awesome tournament, end of the year, recapping everything last tournament in this season, so season 4. Super excited for it. But yeah, what we have before us now is the play-in, which I'm also excited for. So yeah, shout out to ESC for helping us do this, and yeah, shout out to Vlad for planning stuff out as he always did for this one. And we also have Kyle, your tournament that is happening on November 12th. So maybe before I talk about it, maybe I'll just ask you, like, what's gonna happen there, and what can we expect, and what's the cause? Because the cause I think is very, very good.
Yeah, so essentially the plan is to kind of I've I've been fortunate enough to get into
I
Team
am who
Aretusa
I
and kind
need
of
to
corner the
be.
market there on official casters. So lucky enough to have relationship with a lot of those guys and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of reached out to them and said, hey, would you guys be willing to host some games for this charity tournament I'm doing on your channels? And all of them were, for the most part, was like, yeah, absolutely, love
Yeah.
to. And so the plan is to kind of have multiple games going on different channels at one time, and then kind of just raise awareness and hopefully get some donations for the charity. So the charity I've chosen
Mm-hmm.
is through Extra Life.
Nice.
They do a lot of gaming related charity work for children's hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
And the specific hospital that we're playing for and kind of doing this for is the Orlando Health Arnold Palmer Hospital for Children.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now this specific hospital was chosen because I got into this through my university. We actually have a club that kind of does Extra Life charity work, and so this is one that one of my instructors, kind of brought up that she does this, and I was like, well, that sounds interesting. I want to be a part of it. And what
Mm-hmm.
can I do? What resources do I have to help? And I'm a member of an amazing community in Gwent, so
Nice.
let's see what we can do.
It's really cool.
Hope,
I like when we're leveraging something which we're part of and using it for a good cause. And I feel like using the Gwen community for good is always gonna be awesome. It's always gonna be good, and it's always gonna be something that just warms my heart, because I feel like there's just a lot of cool initiatives and a lot of good, just like good vibes in people, especially here in this community. So I'm super excited to have you here talking about this. So I know there's also prize pool help from us, from Million Pugs. From us, it's in-game stuff. Million Pugs, as you probably know, they have this whole program, which you're also part of, and yeah, the whole thing will be also, well, maybe not the whole thing, right? Or some parts of it will be hosted on Twitch, and you'll have Lionheart, Sealy, and Ghostaria doing the casting for these.
yeah. We're not quite sure what channels are going to be there. We're going to announce that soon once we get everything sorted there. But I do know for sure that all three of those have agreed to cast games, and
Nice,
I just found out yesterday Spessie's available too. So I think Spessie's going to do some games for us as well. So
awesome stuff.
um, yeah. So hopefully, hopefully things will, we're going to have some multiple channels going on. I've also talked with Shin Miri about doing some pre-recorded stuff. His time zone kind of makes
Kind
it a
of,
little
yeah.
rough
It's
to
tricky to
do
to
some
play
rough stuff.
around.
Right, right. But if we can do some pre-recorded deck analysis, a segment or something, then even better. So
Yeah. Yeah, so
we'll
November 12th, 1 p.m. CST. That's when the game starts, and yeah, for sure, check it out. Awesome cause, great tournament, and yeah, we're gonna have interesting plays there for sure. If you haven't seen it or heard about it, just yeah, you just go to Kyle's Twitter, and you have all the information there, and you'll be probably posting a little bit more about the event itself before it actually launches.
yeah. So like I said, we'll probably announce sometime, hopefully soon, of what channels and everything's going to be on, so people can tune
Mm-hmm.
in on to watch whoever they want to watch cast games.
Perfect.
So
Perfect. All right. Cool stuff. Kyle, let's talk about you. So KyleTheBearded. I remember checking out your avatar. Very Viking-like with the skulls and the
yeah,
axes. Cool stuff.
yeah.
Respect on that. You're a content creator, and also you do video editing for Team Aretusa. I saw a
hmm
couple of your streams. Of course, Play Gwent partner, Easy Clap. You're from Indiana, USA, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I am. Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So, I was, like I said, lucky enough to get into Team Aretusa through because they were looking for a video editor. So,
Mm-hmm.
and was able to forge those relationships within that team, and it's been been pretty great. So yeah, from Indiana, born and raised here,
Nice.
and we're East Coast time zone, so it's a little early morning for me right now.
Yeah, I can
Um,
imagine.
so not too early, but it's not too bad. But yeah, I think like most people, I got into Gwent through The Witcher 3, and a buddy of mine that I used to work with said, "Hey, they have a standalone game." I was like, "Wait, really?" And you know, right around when COVID kind of shut everything down, I kind of dived deep into the whole like streaming and playing Gwent kind
Nice.
of scene, and it's been pretty fun. I don't I unfortunately don't have enough time recently to stream as much as I would like to.
I
With
feel you. I know how that is.
work and university and that kind of stuff has kind of taken over that. Unfortunately, it's been more of a focus for me recently. But I'm still around in the community with other watching other people's streams and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
you
How
know,
long have you been playing Gwent? Like when did you start? Did you start like
um,
just when the
it
pandemic started or?
it would have been shortly before everything
Mhm.
kind of shut down. Yeah, so probably going on 2 years now. I think. Hopefully.
Mhm.
Yeah, a little over 2 years now. Yeah.
You remember the meta when you joined? What was currently being played or what you started off
Yeah.
playing?
So I do remember specifically. I don't know if this was the meta at the time or if it was, but I remember it was double ball,
Mhm.
and that was
Oh,
that was a rough time.
that was an interesting
Double
time.
ball, yeah, double ball and harmony at the time were like the top two that I remember specifically were the big ones.
Good times for
Unfortunately I
Harmony.
yeah yeah yeah. So glad to see Harmony kind of making a comeback too, which
Yeah.
is which is awesome, and was actually excited to see Symbiosis get some love in this new expansion. So believe it or not, you wouldn't think it, with the beard, but I am a Scoia'tael fan. So
Ooh.
I am a Scoia'tael
Welcome
guy.
to the club.
Yeah, Symbiosis specifically is one of my favorite archetypes. So I was really happy to see them get some love in this new expansion. So,
I was
but
pegging you for like a, Skellige type of guy.
you would think that, right, with the beard and the Viking theme, but
Yeah.
believe it or not, it's actually Scoia'tael that I really enjoy playing the most. So.
Nice. Respect. Respect. What's up with the whole like Viking thing? Are you into Viking like Norse mythology and stuff like that, or is it just
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
it's as far as I know, I don't have any actual Viking heritage or anything in my background or anything. But I've
Yeah.
always Norse mythology, like I'm a comic book fan, so like Thor's
Mm-hmm.
always been one of my favorites, and
Yeah.
being able to dive deep into kind of that actual Norse mythology a little bit and get behind that, it's it's been interesting to really learn about that a little bit more. I played D&D as well, so, like,
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out ways to incorporate some of that into there too, the big barbarian, Viking, crush everything kinda thing, so
Yeah.
it's
That's really
fun.
cool. How long did it take for you to grow that beard? Is there like a story behind it?
I've been growing this, um, probably pre-COVID. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
been trimmed and cut,
Yeah.
since then. It could be longer had I not done any of that, but it's always good health-wise for your beard to kinda trim it a little bit and,
Yeah.
you know, but
Cool
yeah,
stuff.
it's been a while. I honestly don't couldn't tell you when I started actually growing it.
It just happened. One day you
It just
decided that it's
kinda
time.
yeah. Well, I don't know about, the rest of the world, but here in the US specifically, razors to shave with are extremely expensive. Good
Really?
ones anyway.
Oh
Yeah,
man. Yeah,
like,
I mean, yeah,
so,
thinking now about it, they are even here.
yeah, yeah. Good ones anyway. You can get the cheap disposable ones, but they
Yeah.
don't do as good of a job. And I was like, I got tired of spending money essentially. I was like, well, I'm just gonna grow it out. Then I don't have to worry about it.
Respect. Circling back to Witcher, when did you play Witcher 3 for the first time? Did you play it like just before or did you play at launch? Like what's the story
It
here?
it would have been shortly after I think like the complete edition came out, when all the
Mm-hmm.
DLC and everything was
Yeah.
out, is when I kind of finally got into it and was able to play it, because it was one that I tried at one point, but having not played Witcher 1 or 2 when I started, I was a little lost. I was like, who are these characters? What do I I
Mm-hmm.
don't have any connection to them, and
Yeah.
as a player, I don't have any connection to the NPCs that I'm talking to, right? As
Yeah.
Geralt. So I was like, okay, let's stop for a minute. Let's see if I can't find like a YouTube video to give me a little bit of backstory of what's going on,
Nice.
what happened in
Okay.
the last 2 games, right? And so I watched that and was like, "Oh, this is amazing stuff. I really love this lore. I really love this world." It's, and kinda dive deep into it, and Gwent within The Witcher 3 was fun to play, and then found like I said, found out there was a standalone, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"This is awesome. I love it."
Yeah.
So,
The thing is, Gwent in The Witcher 3 was quite easy, especially if
yeah.
you got most of the good cards, and then you were
Right,
pretty much
right.
able to do whatever you wanted and just destroy your opponent. So I know that a lot of people still miss that version of Gwent, but I feel like it was a totally different beast compared to
Eh,
what we have in the game right now.
yeah, I would agree. Like, I think if you're looking to actually build an esports around a game
Yeah,
and you have to make changes and you have to have something that's completely different than what it was for
yeah.
it to be a success and uh, credit to everybody over there at CDPR, like you've built an incredible esports community
Thank you.
around this game, and I'm honored to be a part of it. So
Yeah, awesome stuff. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that. It kind of reminded me of the time where we were developing the first version of the game. We just ported it 1-to-1, and whenever we do that port 1-to-1, I always think about it that it was just if you played Nilfgaard with like spies that you can play on your opponent's side for 0 points, that would give you a card advantage. That was such a crazy time. It's like, man, that was like you were also row stacking stuff, but the rows had no limits at that time, so you could go totally crazy. So it was an interesting time for Gwent for sure.
yeah, I don't know if say lucky enough that I didn't get to play beta Gwent. So
hmm you don't have that
I
association
don't
comparison, right?
I don't. Yeah, like I said, the only thing I can compare to it is Witcher 3 Gwent. So
Yeah,
I do know there's one. I think there's a title that was only in beta Gwent. That's the accomplished drinker title that I wish you
yeah.
guys would bring back. I want you to bring it back because I want that title so bad.
Yeah, that was actually a really cool one. I think it was for the Mahakam Ale festival that
Yeah.
we had at
So
that time. Yeah,
yeah, I've got the little the ale cup
yeah,
avatar
yeah.
thing,
The
but I
border.
don't I border, yeah, but I don't have the accomplished drinker. So it's October, right? So you have Oktoberfest.
Yeah, that's
That's
actually
there's a
true.
good
That's actually true. It'd be
yeah.
good time
Hey,
for it to kind of make
be
a comeback now.
be a good time for it to come back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a yeah. I have to like note that
Pass
down
that
somewhere.
along.
Yeah, I need to like pretty much note that down because I totally forgot about it. That
Yeah.
it's a
Be a
it's
great
it's
time to
one of
bring
those
that
things
back.
that never made a comeback. And noting it down so I don't
Yeah.
forget because
Right.
memory these days not the best when you
Right.
have to remember like multiple things. Did you ever manage to go back to Witcher 1 or Witcher 2, or did you just check out the recaps and that's it?
I mean, I did try to go back and because I think I got on GOG there was a deal at one point for like
Yeah.
all the Witcher stuff that I was able to get them all. I never got a chance to actually complete them or play them
Hmm.
like fully, but I did have the experience of playing them a little bit. The Witcher 1 mechanics are a little rough for what I'm used to,
Yeah,
but it is what it
that
is.
one has aged a little bit when it comes to gameplay for
It
sure. Like the story holds
right,
up, but
right.
the gameplay
Oh,
would
for
need
sure.
would need a little bit of a fine tune.
For sure. Yeah, yeah. No, the story is, and that's the draw for these games is the story specifically for me anyway.
Yeah,
Gameplay beside the point. It's the story that I love
yeah,
and the lore that's there, and that's as a D and D player, storytelling and lore
is important.
is important, and it's you can't really go wrong with this world. It's
True that.
incredible.
True that. Did you maybe have a chance to check out the books then in this case?
I have them on Audible. I just and been
Nice.
slowly kinda rereading or, listening to them
Mm-hmm.
and when I get a chance. So, I work third shift at my job sometimes, so and
Yeah.
then when it's slow, I can it's good to just put on an audiobook and kinda listen to that when I'm doing a little bit of work there, so
I
We're
respect
getting
that.
through them. We're getting through them.
I'm also a fan of audiobooks. I know that maybe this rubs some people the wrong way, but it's good to talk to a fellow like Audible enthusiast, because people are like, no, you should be reading, real books and stuff like that. I'm like, these
Right.
are real books, but someone just reads them for me. I get to listen to them while I'm doing something that I enjoy. Like, I don't know, I can go for a run, I can go for a bike ride or something, and just listen it to
Yeah.
in my ear. And I feel like it's really cool if you're doing something and you have the possibility of doing like two things at the same time. And I still
Right.
feel like since someone is reading it to you, you're still thinking about it, still going in your head, and nothing wrong with that. So yeah, I feel like
Right.
audiobooks, nothing wrong with that.
Oh yeah, no. Specifically, I do audiobooks. There's the one book I am reading that's right now is Tia's book that just came out not that long ago.
Oh yeah,
So
Mark
been
Children.
reading. Yeah, yeah, been reading through it. So shout out to that book if you haven't checked it out. It's actually really good.
Yeah,
So it's
I
incredible.
still I still need to get my copy, or I she said that it might come out on audiobook sooner or later. So I'm just waiting for
I
that.
hear, and I hear there might be someone doing a specific someone doing
Yeah.
the read through.
Also heard that. Yeah. I hope so.
So I
Better be
hope
that
so.
way.
It'll be interesting. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, maybe if you guys do World Masters in person this year, I don't know if you are or not,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe she can bring you a signed copy
Oh, that
if she's
would be
casting.
perfect. But yeah,
See,
I
there
don't
you go.
think it will be in person this year yet. Due to like, all the traveling and
Right.
organizing all that stuff. But yeah, that would be cool. Like we need another event so she can just bring a book, or just
Right.
come here and sign it for me perfectly.
Right. There you go.
Or I can just send her a copy and she can send it back. That would also
Uh,
work.
that's
Yeah,
that's
but
true.
it's on my to read list. I like it's crazy like how many games, books, TV shows, and like media to
Yeah.
consume there is
It
that
can
you never
it,
have time to like consume it all. It's crazy.
right. You can get a backlog really quick
Oh
for
yeah.
sure
Yeah.
of stuff to watch.
Mine just keeps growing. I feel like there's always something being
Mine
added
too.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have once again, which are related, do you have a favorite character or favorite place or
Um.
anything that you would say that kind of draws you to The Witcher, or you have like a very fond memory of?
Um. I Detlef is probably one of my favorite characters.
Ooh, interesting
Yeah,
choice.
yeah, he's always interesting. Um, I mean, that whole story within there and stuff was all pretty great.
Yeah.
Um,
What about Olgerd and Iris in
yeah,
Hearts of Stone?
yeah, those are
That's
good.
also an interesting one, right?
This the Skellige stuff is always fun because it did dive into like some Norse mythology and stuff a
Yeah.
little bit there. So that story within, like I said, I'm a story guy. So like the storyline when you go to Skellige and do all that stuff over there in Witcher 3 is always my one of my favorites
Welcome.
to get into.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree. That one's really cool, and also a little bit of the backstory in terms of like the clans and who wants to take over Skellige and kind of be ruling there. Do you remember who you sided with? Was it Ceres or was it Hjalmar?
I think it was Saris. Yeah,
Ceres. Yeah,
I
same.
think I've done a couple playthroughs, and I
Hmm.
mean, I'm sure I've done both at one point just to see what the different outcomes are. So
Yeah. Nice, nice. Are you
yeah,
planning another playthrough once the next gen version comes out?
possibly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I've got it on PC, so I've
Yeah.
got a pretty decent PC, so I don't know. I mean,
Still
upgraded
might be
graphics
some
and that.
stuff there
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
will
Still
make
might
it look a
be.
little bit better.
Yeah. So we'll see. Like I'm sure I'll play. I try to play through certain games at least once a year that are some of my favorites, and so Witcher's one of those I try to play through at least once a year. Mass Effect I'm also a big fan of, so I try to
Nice.
play through all three of
Mm-hmm.
those at least once a year. Just yeah, you've played them once, but like the stories, are those games are just amazing, and you can play those games multiple times and get different stuff each time. So
Yeah. Yeah, for me, like I was thinking about like I want to replay Witcher 3 for sure. Once that version comes out, but I also would like to kind of one day go back to Witcher 1 and Witcher 2. Like I played them when they launched, so it's already been some time ago. But with Witcher 1, yeah,
Right.
going back to the gameplay would be an interesting thing for sure. But I think Witcher 2 a little bit better in terms of like gameplay wise. And but I remember the difficulty was quite high on Witcher 2. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that too. It was pretty rough sometimes, for
Yeah.
sure.
So when you started playing Gwent, did you just stick like instantly to Scoia'tael, or did you first like play around with different factions and then kind of decided like which one suits you most, or do you just try to play all of them and test different stuff depending what's strong, what's fun, like what's your angle here?
Yeah, so first starting out, like I said, I kind of played around a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and then I did the thing that new players shouldn't do, and I decided to just mill all my cards for one specific deck that was the meta deck at the time,
Yeah.
and I was like, and then regretted it ever since. But after 2 years of playing, I'm set now, so you know, so any new players watching, don't mill all your cards for one specific deck. Just
Mm-hmm.
find a faction you like and stick to that faction, get your card built up for that faction, and then move to the next one. That's the best way to do it, in my opinion. So,
Nice.
and that's the great thing about Gwyn is it's you guys are aren't pay to win. You guys, if you play the game, you're going to get enough resources to get what you need to do what you want
Yeah.
to do. So
Yeah. Don't
it's
mill
just
your stuff. Keep it.
yeah, you just gotta play the game, and you guys are very generous with your resources. So
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is
That's
which is something you don't find in a
it's
lot of games
it's a
nowadays.
blessing and
So
a curse, to be honest, because yeah, it
yeah,
kind of is you sacrifice something for it, but I feel like it always has been our company policy and statement that we're kind of there for gamers, and we try to treat everybody fairly, but also try to treat it also everybody like how we would like to be treated. So not in a sense that we're there to kind of suck the money out of you and don't care about anything else. But it's kind of the other way around, where we
right.
try to be generous and let players have fun with the game, and pretty much create whatever they want in order to have a competitive deck. But yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but totally, it's very time efficient and quick to pretty much
Right.
make a
Well,
competitive deck that you can play with.
yeah, and then even with once you guys come out with the journeys and stuff, even the free version of the journey, all those keys and stuff that you get,
Yeah.
like just progressing through that is incredible resource. So
Yeah, agreed. And oh man, I love journeys, and I love that they're
yeah,
making a
I was
comeback.
so I was so glad to see those come in.
Yeah.
That's it's for the health of a game specifically. Not just as a source of income for the game because you do have to have that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was happy to see that you guys were able to do it and be very generous with the resources and money value if you do want to put money into it.
Mm-hmm.
What you got in return was well worth the price, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
that was the plan,
You know,
like for it to be also like generous, but also kind of uh, resource heavy, and customization options for the skins and stuff like that was
right?
kind of really cool. And I,
And
and I also like that we always change the in between the journeys, like in terms of like what you can do, how you can do it. With the Regis one being like super crazy
yeah,
when it comes to
yeah,
customizability.
yeah. And I mean, and that's again another great draw. That Gwent has is the cosmetics are always amazing. So different card backs and boards and coins, and there's just a plethora of stuff that you know
Yeah.
can customize to your liking. And
Yeah, I
you
feel
guys
like an
aren't
online game you have to kind of, right? Like the boards, the
right,
skins, the
especially
avatars, the
something that's
borders.
right, especially something that's free to play, right?
Yeah.
You have to give people, you have to give your players something to want to keep playing and invest their time into.
Yeah, for us always the most
Yeah.
important thing was to be like, if we want to monetize stuff, is to monetize things that don't give you an advantage within the game, like in terms of playability.
Yeah.
because you sometimes see that in something that we're not very
Yeah.
big fans of, and I think gamers overall are not big fans of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to have behind, let's say, the paywall things which are just like vanities, so skins, boards, stuff like that. And also we try to from time to time, like have things that you can buy for in-game resources, or things that you can get in events or challenges, and stuff like that, or just from the trees that we have within the game, which you can just unlock with the keys, like you mentioned, and or reward points as they're called, and get some cool stuff.
Yeah. That's one thing like I said, I give credit to you guys for is not monetizing for monetization's sake, I guess, is the best
Hmm.
way to say it, right? You're
Yeah,
monetizing things that aren't gonna give anybody a competitive advantage. It's not pay to win. You know, if you want these things, they're there. You can have them. You know, but you don't have to. You know,
exactly, exactly. Um, do you have yourself maybe a favorite meta that you were part of, like a favorite time in terms of when you play Gwent? Like, some
that's a
people
good
always say
question.
like, oh, maybe this one, but I don't know if this one is kind of the best one. Some probably the ones that had rent free were not favorited by a lot
Yeah.
of people and stuff like that from like the
Um.
recent history. But was there like a favorite meta or favorite deck that you kind of always go back to, thinking like, oh
I,
man, it would be nice
yeah.
to have that back?
I I touched on it a little bit. It was when Symbiosis first came out. It
Uh-huh.
was like it was really strong, and
Yeah.
like I said, that's when I fell in love with that archetype specifically. And so I think when that first launched, the Symbiosis archetype, you know, was one of my favorites. Back before Gord was capped, you just dropping a 20 plus
Ooh.
point Gord on the board and saying "See you later," beat that kind of
Yeah.
thing, and
I remember I was
you
salty
know,
about that change when I learned about it from the designers. They're like, "Oh, we're putting a cap on
it
him." I'm like, "Really? You want to cap him? I mean, he's not that problematic." But yeah,
it
the sentiment
right.
was like, "Yeah, we need a ceiling for this card, like for other cards we're doing."
Sure, and it makes sense, So I wasn't too terribly mad at the cap on Gord. It did set the Symbiosis, decks back a little bit until we got
Yeah,
this new patch that just came out, and now it's making a comeback, and I like it. So, I think you've started to see the meta shift a little bit now that the new expansion's been out a couple weeks
yeah.
that things are changing and shaping up, and you're gonna start seeing a lot of Igni and a lot
Mhm.
of Yurden getting
Yeah.
played, especially with the new Nilfgaard leader ability, like
Mhm.
just the incredible amount of points that deck can
Yeah.
drop. If you're
Yeah.
not running either one of those, it's kind of over.
Yeah, it's interesting that
you
we
know
kind of made it back to Yurden and Igni meta. Like that, these cards are seeing more play, and it was also very visible during the last Open. So Open number 3, that a lot of players knew that there are going to be decks which are going to be point heavy, and there's going to be a lot of buffing going
right.
on, that have something that can reset everything. Was interesting to kind of see those come
Yeah.
back.
Well, I mean, I'm glad to see it because personally, Igni's card art wise is one of my favorite card arts. So I
Yeah.
really, yeah, that card art, especially the premium version, is just
I'm
fantastic.
just waiting for something to
Uh,
happen to Villain Mirth, because that's like one of my favorite arts in the game. I'm just waiting for
yeah.
him to get some type of. And I still remember, like, I used to play. There used to be this like triple Scorch deck in which you had Igni, you had Scorch, you had Villain Mirth, and there was, I think, Nature's Gift at that time was copying a special card, so you can make a copy of your Scorch, which
Oh.
was super
Mhm.
good. So yeah, you're able to pretty much destroy all the big tall units. But yeah, it was a lot of removal. But if your opponent staggered points in a good way, so you only took like out something or one or two targets, there were still two others which would stay. It would be really hard to make up the points. But yeah, it was an interesting meta to play in for
Mm.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
for
feel like
sure.
the game has gone from different places. The thing also that you kind of missed, maybe that's good, is the midwinter kind of update that we had, which kind of made the game very RNG heavy at that time, and then we had to scale that back, for sure. And then we had the homecoming, which was kind of our 6 months to freeze the game, change it. Well, I remember we came back with 2 rows at that time instead of three, which was
Mm.
quite controversial at that time. But
I can
yeah,
imagine. So that's
yeah,
see, that's all pre me. So I don't, like I said, I didn't play Beta Gwent, and I got into it after Homecoming. So
yeah.
I've only
Good,
known
good,
this
good.
version of Gwent. So you
Good,
know,
because it was an interesting story, like good and bad, but still I feel like it was one of those that was for sure a learning curve for us, and it's something that I always kind of mentioned that we started out with Gwent as it was from The Witcher 3, and we were trying to make it a standalone game, and I feel like without us having a lot of experience when it comes to multiplayer online games, like it was just a learning experience the whole project for the last 6 years that the project has been going on. I feel like the last like 2 to 3 years were kind of where we started having things leveled out and kind of knew more which direction we want to go and what we want to achieve based off of like the previous knowledge that we gained throughout the whole process, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think you guys have nailed it. So you know, you guys have put together an incredible, fun game that's and it not the community as well. So
Yeah, like we
you
were
know,
talking before we went live, that the community aspect of this game is something that is
hmm
is super
for
strong, and
sure.
there's just a lot of nice people and a lot of people who want to bring each other up, and also people who are very welcoming to whoever is coming into the game or whoever wants to start streaming the game,
Yeah,
helping out with tips, showing like discords where people can hang out, they can talk to similar
yeah,
like Gwent nerds, let's say, and
yeah.
have a good time. Like that is something that for me always is like it's something that I'm super happy about, super kind of proud of to be part of this community.
Yeah, and likewise, and kind of going back to earlier talking about the tournament when I announced the tournament, as someone who's not as relevant in the as a name within the Gwent
Mm-hmm.
community, even having the people respond the way they have and the community respond to the way they have has been incredibly humbling and incredibly grateful, for sure that that everyone's like, "Hey, this is amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm what can I do to help?" and you know, that kind of stuff. So it's been great, and I can't say enough about you guys specifically and Million Pugs as well
Mm-hmm.
of
Yeah, they're
being
awesome
on
also.
being on board and willing to help and put put together a pretty awesome prize pool for the players that we can that kind of so it's been incredible. I can't
Yeah.
can't say can't say enough kind words more about it. So
Yeah, the tournament scene, especially the community-driven tournament scene, is always something that has been there since the very very early beginnings. I remember communities very quickly jumped on the esports aspect of the game itself. I remember, they were waiting for quite some time for us to have the tournament platform as a space and place kind of that will let community organizers just keep everything in check and keep everything going. So it was really cool to once that was added, to kind of see more and more kind of tournaments just pop up from everywhere, and kind of community taking the reins and driving really cool initiatives there.
yeah, it's been been great, and having that resource of like the tournament client and stuff like that to be able to do this, it'd be almost nearly impossible
Yeah.
without that. So the fact that you guys have been able to implement that and focus on community and community building in general for this
Hmm.
game, and you know being willing to say we understand that you guys are the driving force of this game, and we want to make you guys happy, and here's a tool, go have fun.
Yeah.
It's been great.
Yeah. Agreed totally. Speaking of you and streaming, like you said, you don't have maybe as much time to stream right now due to like all the stuff going in your life. Would you say when you kind of started streaming, what was kind of, well, apart from of course the pandemic and kind of that happening, when did this decision happen, and what was kind of the thing that pushed you in that direction, that like, oh, I wanna actually start streaming?
Yeah, I mean, it was like I said, I started playing Gwent kind of like I said pre-COVID,
Mm-hmm.
and then through like my buddy who introduced the game to me was like, hey, there's a Twitch, it's got a pretty good Twitch following too,
Mm-hmm.
and so I looked into that, and then everything kind of shut down, and I was like, well, what am I gonna do for the next 2 months, or I
Yeah.
forget how many months that my work was shut down for. All right, well, I'm just let's play a Gwent and stream and just see what happens,
Yeah.
right? And that was the thing. Like from the moment I started streaming, like Twitch growth wise was pretty incredible. It's now so much is not enough time. The growth has not been there, but like compared to other people, streaming games that are like more saturated with streamers, like the bigger names like Fortnite and Call of Duty, and trying to stream those games is kind of hard to find some growth in. But Gwent, is incredible. Everyone in the community um is you know always willing to check out new people, you know,
Yeah.
and those bigger names are always willing to send people to new people,
Mm-hmm.
so and just kind of spread that community around and stuff like that. So it's been great.
Yeah, I've kind of noticed that also here. Like whenever we do like major tournaments, like opens and stuff like that, we also try to always raid someone, to
Hmm.
kind of put the focus to someone else's channel, that that the person is currently streaming. So it's always good to show new faces and kind of have the community jump there. And most of the time, the community that is kind of watching opens and stuff like that is kind of the core, let's say, hardcore players that have been with us for quite some time. So they instantly jump in, they like give tips, and then also follow that
Hmm.
person. So it's really, really cool.
Yeah, and like it's like I said early on, starting when I was streaming, it seemed like every day,
Mm-hmm.
during the pandemic. The growth was pretty incredible, and as someone who's a new streamer, that feeling of having someone drop 200 people into your channel
Yeah,
on a
that's amazing,
raid
right?
is that nervous energy, and you're just like, oh my, what do I do? What do I, and to see that reaction from someone, and to haven't felt that reaction and had to go through that reaction,
Hmm.
it's an incredible thing to feel,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, it's funny because
and
people always like tense up. They're like, "Oh no, I have to play good now." It's like, "Oh no, but
right,
there's so many people
right,
coming in. Like, should I be talking to them
right,
instead of playing? Like, I
right,
forgot
right.
to play a card. Like, oh hi
Uh,
everybody."
right, right. And especially someone who's new to streaming, like that's, oh no, what do I do?
Yeah,
Because you haven't found what works for you, right, and what works for your channel at
yeah,
that point when you're still starting out, and then you get 200 plus people or more dropped into your channel, and you're oh no, I have to play this game that I'm not very good at yet,
yeah,
or and oh, are these people gonna laugh at me? Because you just don't know until
yeah.
you
You don't
actually
know
get
how
into a
people will
community.
react. That's true.
React, right?
Yeah,
But that's the thing. Again, that's the thing about the Gwent community is I, I've made stupid plays. We've all made stupid plays,
yeah,
and none of them. They all kind of laugh with you at that
yeah,
point,
yeah.
and they're always willing to like, here's what you did wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of help you as well. So
Yeah, I love that learning process of it. Like,
I do, yeah,
because we all
absolutely,
make mistakes, right? And there's always
right,
someone who is a better player for, let's say, a specific faction or a specific deck, and that person is able to kind of tell you, like, oh, you should have done this and
right,
this and that instead of playing that. Or maybe if you sequence things
yeah.
differently, you'll get a better outcome or get more
E
points, right?
Exactly, exactly, and that's, me as a player, I'm not, like I said, I'm not that good of a player, but having someone easily that I can, that's maybe in chat or something when I do stream, um, say, "Hey, here's the sequencing that you maybe could have done here that could have been different,"
Yeah,
and being able to see that sequencing and like, "Oh, okay." There's been times where I've even not on stream, I've gotten into like a Discord call and had someone walk me through some stuff, and
yeah,
and then learn a new deck or a new way to play and see how that works and then like I keep going back to this, but the Gwent community has always been incredible, willing to do these things,
Yeah.
and
That's
help
the
out.
aspect I like a lot. Even myself, like I normally
Absolutely.
would play anything Scoia'tael related, but if I want to play something different, I always like hit up either someone from the design team, or we can also hit up like one of the content creators or streamers and just ask them for tips in terms of like playing a different
Yeah,
deck that we normally would not play. And are really like, okay,
right,
how in a nutshell, how does it work more or less? Can you tell me? And then they give you kind of an overall idea. Plus, we have people like KG, we have people like Shinmiri who pretty much are creating these awesome like deck guides and also
right,
videos and streams which you can just tune into and pretty much learn
right.
from them, right?
Yeah, I mean, the knowledge that Shin has is
Yeah, it's
incredible.
incredible.
I don't know how it's all up there. I think you and Zoob talked about the same thing last week, but like, how does that guy keep all that in his brain? I don't understand it.
Yeah.
It's that guy. The knowledge that that man has is incredible.
Yeah, we also kind of talk to him when it comes to like some of the stuff that we're doing in terms of upcoming updates and things like
Hmm.
that. And it's always interesting to kind of see his perspective on some of the stuff. Like he has such an amazing brain
Yeah,
that is able to kind of decouple things and theory craft things based off of like even text without even playing the thing, because he
yeah.
knows the cards and
Hmm.
in the game so well that is able to theory craft based off of that. So
And
crazy.
yeah, well, and it's that knowledge that makes him one of the, if not the greatest Gwent caster out there.
Yeah,
I don't
agreed.
want to put that title on him, but it's hard to argue anybody else at this point as far as knowledge of the game goes.
Yeah.
And being able to analyze a play before it happens and see, oh, this is it's I can't say enough. Say
See a
enough
couple
kinds of words
moves
about that
before they
guy.
happen is crazy, right?
And yeah, right. And then to see the player in the tournament make the play later and go, he saw it, and to be able to say he saw it too or didn't see it,
Yeah.
and I it's great. So
That kind of shows you the understanding of the game he has simply. But yeah, we're also kind of talking with Flake, because me and Flake we have a weekly podcast that we do about
oh,
CCGs,
mhm,
and in that one we are kind of saying that when it comes to Shinmiri overall, he also kind of changed because he was very analytical only in the beginning, and now he kind of started like spinning and adding a little bit of his own personality to the
yeah,
whole thing, which is super cool because yeah, he's just such a lovely person. So it's really cool to see more
yeah.
of that.
Speaking to that and his personality, I think the segment, I have an idea for the segment for the tournament with Shen that's pre-recorded,
Hmm.
and by all means, I'll let you guys steal this if you want to. But because he's doing a pre-recorded deck analysis thing, I think we're gonna call the segment the top three decks that can't lose. So, by all means, you guys steal that for the
Nice.
official stuff if you want to. But
We can't lose.
right, then, just have him look through all the tournament decks and say these are the top three decks I like. These
Yeah.
are the top three decks that can't lose. You
Nice.
know,
Nice.
so
I love that. I also kind of try to, before tournaments, kind of see what they're writing amongst each other when it comes to like analyzing some decks and stuff like that. And it was really cool when we had the in-person events, when we had the casters actually sit down and talk with one another in terms of like decks, and then we were kind of listening in terms of like which cards we should be highlighting during the stream and during the production.
mhm.
It was really cool how in depth they can go in terms of like cards, but also interactions and all that stuff. So super super interesting to kind of see it, as a spectator in this case.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. So, like, compared to what I'm trying to do with this, being behind the scenes and talking with these people, with all these casters, and hey guys, you guys are in official tournaments all the time. What should I be doing on my end as the person's essentially producing this thing? Um, what do you guys need? What can I help you with? And just seeing the feedback that they've been able to give me and the insight to that has been incredible. being behind the scenes and a little bit of seeing what they go through on a for an official cast has been has been pretty interesting and awesome to learn. And it kind of being able to see that a little, like I said, a little bit of the behind the scenes of what they go through and stuff. So I really enjoy that aspect of this actually. Yeah, as
Hmm.
far as compared to like streaming and creating my own content, being behind the scenes and producing is
That's
a little
so
bit
cool.
more of a is a little bit. I like it a little bit more.
Hmm.
And being able to promote. Like I've really enjoyed being able to promote this tournament and work behind the scenes with these people a little bit more on a production
Yeah, it's
as
really
opposed
cool.
to as opposed to being out there and being the guy, being behind the scenes, I think is more my thing. I
Yeah.
guess,
I kind of also like that when it comes to the whole like production process that we do for the events themselves, and kind of
mhm,
working with the people who are responsible for audio, who are responsible for the on display graphics that we do, and kind of fixing things on the go and changing things on the go, like the macros plus the equipment that we have there in order to capture the players, the game, and all that stuff, and take those feeds and put them all together and kind of make the whole thing happen. Like it's a really interesting process that I've thankfully had the
yeah,
process to be part of since when we started Gwent Esports. So it's
yeah,
also been a very long journey and learning curve for all of us. But yeah, it's just so super cool to see it
that'd
from
be
behind the scenes.
yeah. For me, that'd be a dream. Just to once we get Gwent Esports back in person, to just
Yeah,
go out and to be able to go and see the behind the scenes of
how it's
what all goes
operated.
in, how it's operated, and what. Oh, that's
Yeah,
that would be awesome. Like I would love to be able to see that because
agreed.
that's I can't imagine what you see when you're going through all that, even for the ones that aren't in person.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel
Can't.
like the ones that are not in person, like production wise, it's a little bit easier in terms of like the setup is a lot more
Mm,
simpler,
mhm,
because you just need different PCs from which you capture players, casters in the game itself, and then you need to combine this into one feed, put overlays over all this stuff, and then kind of pretty much works itself. Like I think we're in a point right now when we're able to run it in a pretty smooth way in terms of like we know what is needed, but it wasn't always like that. Like in the beginning when we were starting out, like we needed outside help in order to organize the tournaments, and after we got like the equipment and the know-how, we kind of started learning how to do our own setup and how to make that thing keep going. But yeah, it's also the interesting part is like having the first tournament that you do yourself, and kind of starting from that point on is always like, man, it's feels overwhelming, but once you get the hang of it, like if the process kind of automizes itself. And also I like having players in the studio and creating like specific lighting for that, and also a specific setting, and adminning everything in person. I think even that adminning things in person is much easier than adminning things online.
yeah, I'm sure I'll find that out really quickly.
Yeah.
Once we get into this tournament and kind of admitting this tournament, but like I said, I've been incredibly lucky to have had the people involved with this from the get go,
Hmm.
that have that experience that I can rely on to help me out there. So, I expect this tournament to go smoothly, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure it'll be an awesome one
Fingers
because it's for a great
fingers
cause. It's
crossed.
for a great
So
cause,
yeah,
so it cannot go wrong.
hopefully.
Like stars will align the way you need them, because yeah, if you're doing something good, like good stuff always comes back to you, man.
Yeah, I hope so. I really do. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, we've run into the hour mark, which is like where I like to keep these more or less. When it comes to people finding you or your content or your stuff, like where should they be looking, and where should they be also looking for everything tournament related?
Um. Well, let's see. Tournament related, you can always my Twitter, which is
Mm-hmm.
at KyleTheBearded. That's the one that I'm gonna kind of post everything at. And as far as like tournament related goes, there's also it's gonna be in some Discords and two that are within the for those that any new stuff there. As far as content goes, I stream on Twitch when I can at Kyle the Bearded.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I also run a D&D YouTube that's
Ooh.
called Act. Yeah, so that's been a little bit more of a focus recently than the Gwent stuff for
Oh, that's
me.
cool.
Yeah, so we do videos for that usually on a weekly basis. It's at you can find that at Critting After Dark.
Mm-hmm.
Is the name of that YouTube channel,
Check it out,
and
everybody.
check
That's
that
cool.
stuff
I need
out.
to check
So
it out myself now.
yeah, and if you wanna play, you have an open invitation to come
Oh,
play a session with
nice.
us. So
That's really
you
cool.
know,
It's been some time
yeah,
since I played D&D, but
yeah.
I
So
might be rusty, but
we
that's really
yeah
cool.
yeah. So
I'll hold you to it.
yeah, not that long ago, we had old Beauty and the Beastie come play with us. So,
Oh, nice. That's really
Lionheart and
cool.
Tia come played a session with us, and that was fun. So, and I think it was Tia's first time playing D&D, and she was awesome.
Oh, that's so cool.
So
Yeah, it's also cool when someone plays for the first time and you get to like bring them into this
yeah,
world because it's something totally different. I remember I played D&D when I was quite young, and I remember like having a friend that kind of onboarded me into the whole process. That was like, wow, this is so cool. Like there's a book that pretty much gives you the whole kind of how to play it, how to set the settings, how to level up the characters, and kind of how they evolve. It was it's so cool.
yeah, and I think actually Baron Grimswald just posted the link to the
Yeah.
YouTube page there in chat. So there's that. If anyone wants to,
Oh
hopefully go
yeah.
and subscribe to that. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Cool
Um,
stuff.
so yeah,
Awesome, man.
so
Was
yeah,
great talking to you.
yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. Hopefully, maybe I can reach back out and we get a little closer to the tournament time and we can come back on and kind of hopefully hype this thing up a little bit more too
Let's do that. Let's do
once
that.
a little get closer. So
Yeah. Plus, we
um,
need to hype it up with our socials. So when we're gonna be getting
absolutely
closer, we'll be
for sure.
letting everyone know that this is happening. I'm already excited for it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me and
Pleasure, man.
appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all also for watching, and thank you, Kyle, for coming on. Have a great weekend, everybody, and yeah, we'll catch you next week.
See ya.
Bye bye.